Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Double A Chattery drops today. This is the award-winning podcast you do with your forensic
Award-winning's a stretch.
Yeah, hasn't won awards?
No, I was nominated as Podcaster of the Year, which was very nice.
Well, in my book, it gets an award, and that's
Thank
not
you.
like one of those lame awards that your parents give you.
It does sound a bit like it.
This is the podcast you do with your forensic psychologist friend, Anita McGregor, and you touched many people with the story you were saying a few weeks ago about your dog getting old.
Yeah, I spoke about, like, my dad's unwell, my dad's 91. He's not unwell, but he's 91.
91.
My husband is unwell, and I look at the dog, who's now 13, and I think she's the glue that's holding it all together for me.
I know.
And I'm not going to cry because I bawled my eyes out when I spoke about it. And 2 million people have responded to that, talking about their own dogs dying, how they felt when they lost their shadow, which is what, a 16, a relationship you can have with a pet for 16 years.
You know what I love seeing you with Minnie, the way she just looks at you and follows you around. It's so sweet.
Oh, she's the sweetest thing. And one of the people that reached out in light of that was a woman called Dr. Lizzie Kennedy. She's a vet who specialises in end-of-life care for the dogs and the humans that are going through it too. And so Anita and I have interviewed her. It was an incredible podcast that drops today. I cried, of course, through all that as well. But she's quite amazing because she's, I don't remember when I was growing up and I didn't have a family pet, but you didn't show your grief when a pet died. But I think a couple of things. Social media has united people in sharing how they feel about their pets and how they feel when their pets die. The idea of the Rainbow Bridge. People now acknowledge the grief, the toll of the grief, and how you feel when you lose this long-loved pet.
Yeah.
But she gave me a lot to think about in terms of how to acknowledge the passing of your pet, how to navigate what's to come and navigate it when it happens, and how to lean into the beauty of the relationship. Here's just one of the practical things she said.
But in the event of you choosing cremation where you want the ashes returned to you, you enter that period that I liken to between the death and the funeral of a human. So somebody dies and then you have 7 to 10 days and then you have the funeral and you're in that period of mournings. I encourage people to create an altar space, have a candle and a photo and flowers. And then when the ashes are returned home, that's a profound moment and opportunity to really honour the bereavement process through a ceremony, particularly for families with young children.
That makes sense. We had a terrible time, my youngest son Dom's 21st birthday party. So we've set up everything. His mates are coming around in a few hours, and then Dom comes upstairs and he's ashen faced. And I said, well, what's the matter, mate? And he said, Fizzle, the cat, the family cat had died on his floor right there and then. And I said, but I'd just literally seen the cat probably an hour before, and it was the grumpy cat. You remember Fizzle, just grumpy. And I said, but I just saw her. And then we went down to his room. Sure enough, she was dead on the floor.
Wow.
She just died, dropped dead. And then people were coming around and we just sort of, Helen, Dom and myself just sat there, just shocked, and there were tears. It was such an emotional time for young Dom. But in my day, my dad used to make jokes about, getting a car battery and throwing the cat in the river and stuff like that. That was the era
we're not
that we grew
anymore.
up with.
We're open to acknowledging now, and companies have bereavement care. Companies allowed you to take some time off work if you need to. And during during COVID, our animals got us through. I think we acknowledge the relationship we have with our pets a lot more now. But she was so thoughtful. She's been with families through all of this. And what she had to say was so interesting. So that's Double A Chattery, wherever you get your podcasts, on iHeartRadio, or you can just listen to it on doubleachattery.com.
Nice work.